Have you ever felt stuck on your game development journey? Maybe you've been wondering if it's the time to abandon your project. Well, today I want to share my experience working on a retro-style side project while still tackling my main game, and how this unexpected detour has reignited my passion. At some point during the development of my main project, I ended up encountering a major roadblock, which led me to the realization that my main game has been defocused for months. But I needed a fresh perspective. I'm sure you've encountered similar roadblocks where you just felt like you need to abandon your whole project. But that's not the point of this video. When facing creative burnout, best advice somebody can give you is don't abandon your main project. Start something else, something completely different that goes away from your main project. And in my case, that was to experiment with a unique retro aesthetic that I made using two really powerful techniques. One is dithering and the other is pixelization. When going away from your main project, it's important to keep in mind that this doesn't mean you need to abandon all the things you've learned inside your main project. So instead of making 2D art and starting to learn something fully new, I tried experimenting with something I'm familiar with and expanding my scope to a different field. I started off creating pixelization. Pixelization is all about reducing resolution to create that classic retro game look. In theory, pixelization is really easy. You take your image or your frame that you took from your camera and you divide their width and height by a scale factor to preserve our aspect ratio. And that is downsampling our image. But now we have the problem, it's a very small image. You can work with that, but we want it to work with our big screen. So we just upsample the image back to the original size and output it to the display. Dithering, on the other hand, is like a magic trick for creating gradients and textures with a limited color palette. It simulates something like depth and shading without breaking the retro vibe. As an example, look at this scene. See how dithering gives it texture and character? Here's the same scene without dithering. We use a small grid of numbers called a Bayer matrix to decide how to distribute black and white, or in our case red and blue pixels. We convert that matrix to a range of 0 to 1, so we divide each number by 16, the highest value in the matrix plus 1. For every pixel in the image, we check its brightness, so we convert the pixel value into a range of 0 to 1, and we find its position in the matrix, so the X and Y correspond to the value in the matrix. And then we compare the brightness of the pixel to the brightness of the matrix. So when it's higher than the threshold, it becomes white, otherwise it becomes black. This pattern is then repeated over the whole image or over a whole frame. So even though we're just at the beginning, working on this side project has taught me some new techniques and given me new ideas for my main game. Sometimes stepping away and trying something new or trying something different is the best way to move forward. So, should you abandon your game dev project? Not necessarily. Sometimes you just need a creative reset. Your side project can also be the key to unlocking new ideas for your main game, and don't give up. Pivot, experiment, and rediscover the fun of creating games.